everybody online. Yeah, that's good. We're waiting for some people to file in person. But first of all, thank you for coming, everyone online. I guess I'll bring everyone in the space. Everyone in the space for the P2P workshop, please come to the center here with your devices. And if you don't have a device with Unity version 2022.3.7 F1 installed, we do have some computers in the space that has it installed. So if you don't have it, we have a few different stations here that you can work in. But yes, welcome everybody in person and online. We're going to get started with Preksha, who's sitting next to me. She will start the first half of the workshop. But welcome to Learning Future's first Unity P2P workshop. Intro to Unity Editor and World Building with Unity. And I will let Preksha take it away after I share the screen. And as I said in the chat, really before this, Jesus is our chat moderator, so he will be answering any questions in the chat and also fielding any requests to speak in this webinar workshop event stage. So this is our first time doing this, so if there's any technical difficulties, which hopefully there isn't, but if there are, just be patient. And we will get started. Here, Preksha, you can begin.
Hi guys, I'm Preksha. I'm a master's student in user experience, working with LF for like 4 to 5 months now, and I love it. I'm the UI UX guild member, guild lead, in fact, the product manager for Zoom in the Metaverse, and I'll be starting off with intro with Unity for y'all. Unity installed already. Can I just? I'll just start off. You can like start off from this. If you all have like a project open on here, then you see these four important screens that you have here. I'm gonna start off with showing you the screen. The screen, you can move around, play with it. Click on the middle button of your mouse, and then you can move around to see each of the main camera and the direction of light. You can also view them from here if you don't have a mouse, but recommended you all have a mouse, and then you can play around with the object right in the center of the screen with your screen. And then in game view, you have the sky, or if you change that color into like a solid color, and I say real time, or you can play around with the colors right here. Um, Let me say mixed right here and then change that. So you also have the sample. So right here in the hierarchy, you have different game objects that you can add in and then add into the screen. For now, we're just going to be, I'll just show you how it works with the main camera. Considering that as an object, in the inspector, you see that there are sky boxes. All right, here you can change that into solid color, and that you can play around with the background. The screen, in fact, shows you how the game is when the screen alone is when that particular screen is viewed at, and with that object from that screen put into the game shows you how that object looks in the game. Amanda will be showing you with different objects in the screen and in the scene too. The inspector panel shows you different transformations, say position. I can change that. I can increase that for like objects or even the camera for now, you see. Rotation of the camera, say 20, and it rotates through the x-axis. Let me just click on that. And then perspective shows you the different perspective of it, or on an orthographic perspective. Field of view can be changed too, considering the point of center and then increasing the view of the camera. So right now it's showing onto one of the spaces. Let me put that right. So you can change the direction of lighting with the X, Y, and Z axis. Um, coming down here, you can change the different depths of it too. Um, Adding in texture would be easy from here, so target texture can be added in here. Um, so let me just show you how it works with also the project here. And I'm going to click on the screen, and right now we'll be working with the sample scene. Um, Assets right here has the entire project that you have for every single object, every single texture, lighting, anything you add on to the game, you have it saved into the assets panel. So the scenes, sorry, yeah, the scene, right, the sample scene right here is this particular scene that you see, but assets in general has everything saved in there. So this is one of your important parts of the screen, and then console. Console is usually shows you what errors you have. So it's don't be worried if you have something popping up here. In fact, it's one of your easiest way to get to know where your errors are and correct them. This is one of the only technical part of the whole um, Unity part. So you don't freak out. Usually you find your errors right here. It's honestly, console is like your best friend and your worst enemy. So take that as an advantage, and like you can correct all your errors. It's super easy. Going back here, and so these basically are the four main panels of Unity. And in the nav bar, I'm gonna just show you how we can work through the main buttons right here. So file has new scene open, so you can open an existing scene that you have saved in here from anywhere else, and then you can save this, save as template, and then opening a new project, saving that can be done from here. You can also edit, where you can select, deselect, and then select children. So when you say children parent, that comes under like the hierarchy, where the hierarchy tells you where the each of the hierarchical parent or the child is from from each of the objects. So in the hierarchy, you'll usually have different um, objects, say, so game objects like the enemy or the character, or different objects that you'll use for your scene. So houses, trees, anything you have for your game. And then coming back here, I would also like to show you the project settings. This one, uh, sorry. So you can drag and drop this anywhere. So um, let me just have it right here for now. Um, okay, so you can play around with the audio, add the audio, edit stuff, graphics, input manager, memory settings. Everything you need for later on in different other workshops will be right here for you to find. So player, quality of the scene, or different objects, you can change the quality in here. Scene template. Um, yeah, so the UI builder, the versions of the UI, version control. Usually, if you do change the versions, then you'll be seeing like an error in the console. So hopefully you have the newest version of Unity here, the most recent one, and then visual scripting you can deal with from here, and then let me just put the project settings right here so you can see it with the inspector if you need to. Let me go back here. Preferences is something that you'll also use later on. So you can change the 3D to 2D, and then change the different physics. So when it comes to different colors or contacting the arrow scale, so it's different contact colors that you have when the objects touch each other. Analysis is where it shows you the default editor. Um, so the assets pipeline shows you where different textures are, or if it's selected or not. Colors, you can grab a couple of colors from here, or different parts of the object is in here, with the material, with uh, GI, the scenes, and the general play mode tint as well. Um, so the external tools that can be added in, as in like the local packages, or you can embed new packages in from there. The GIT packages, graphic design packages, the built-in packages, all of them can be added in from external tools or can be like looked in from here. Um, let's see. The scene view can be also edited from here. Um, so is UI scaling and indexing and everything. So you can also select in from here if you want like the project one. You can search from here to the projects, the hierarchy, menus, and the settings and everything. Um, indexing, timeline. Okay. UI scaling is in here, visual scripting. Don't worry too much about all of this. I hope I'm not overwhelming you, but in case you do need other windows popping up for different things in your later workshops, it's mostly going to be in your the edit section where you can also add shortcuts. You have a bunch of other commands that you can see how you can add in shortcuts and see how usually Unity works. Um, yes, and game objects. So you can also add in game objects from here, UI and everything, but also you can left click from here and add in different game objects through hierarchy directly. So adding in different buttons, toggle, um, adding different uh, objects as well, images, raw image, everything else you find on here. So you can add in different objects as well. So if you can play around with different objects right now I just added in a sphere. So you can turn it around, play around. You can also use ASD W to like play around with it from. So click on it and then um, through your center button of your mouse is going to help you um, hold the object and play around. Right button is going to let you view from different angles in 3D. If you're really good at this, you can use both of them together to help you like rotate around and move around from up, down, right, left, and to view it from different angles. And then, well, yeah, you can also empty or create child parent from here, mostly to do with the hierarchy section through the game objects. Um, Move to view, align with view, all these sections can be added from here. Components, well, these are, you can look into different mesh filters, mesh rendering from here. Different effects can be added from this section. So the lens, the halo effect, and everything. So with the physics too, you can. So if there's an object and you need to like move it around, or if it's like bouncing, anything else that sort can be added in from the physics of the object. 2D helps you work with 2D objects, so you have like a fixed position or a friction joint in 2D or a hinge joint, and then so if your arm is moving or the character's arm has to move, you fix one part of it and then hinge the probably the elbow and then move the hand around, if that helps. And yeah, so you have different settings in here that you can change. Audio, audio listener, source, low pass filter, high pass filter. You can change everything through this. The video section has the video player, rendering gives you camera, um, the lighting as well, the um, oscillations. Tile map also gives you different rendering from that. Layout helps you with the canvas layouts. Um, say Okay, I wouldn't be going through everything because this is pretty obvious at this point. UI gives you, again, lets you play around with the UI part of it with Mesh and Pro. UI documentation as well as your services through which you can like explore. And the Windows panel helps you add in different windows when you need them. So these are the shortcuts again if you want to go into the next window, control tab, control shift tab with the previous window. Layouts is you can split the screen into 2 by 3 and 4 split ways and different ways to lay it out. Um, Unity version control, package manager, text. Um, yeah, you can add in different windows in here whenever it's required. I would say the animation is a pretty important one. So right here you see animation and animator. Let me just pull that out. So animation, you usually put that down here or with your like project to see where there you go. So through each animation, objects of the animation thing, you can change the timeline of it or when the animation object comes up, and you can change when in each time line of that when it turns or when it what other the settings you have to add in through it, and the animator is usually placed in with your hierarchy. And um, so here's where you add in the game object, and then you have it to animate. So say if I have like a character that's just like bouncing at a place, and then after 5 seconds it starts running towards a certain direction, that's where I will put in uh, the character in stop and then in motion. But right here I would put it in with the timeline. So both animator and animation go hand in hand. Um, and then um, different UI toolkits. So say I pull in the UI builder, I have different hierarchies and the viewport of the different UI builders here with the library as well. Um, So sequencing gives you a timeline. Audio, you can change the audio as well when you're like playing with when you have the game running and you want to change the audio for the same. The visual scripting gives you the script for whatever you're creating. Don't worry too much about that. With help, you have the Unity services, learn, forums, discussions, usually where you're going back. If you're stuck in any place, you can just go back to the Unity manual and then go through that or read about Unity. Um, yeah, this is mostly about what I was going to talk to you about. And then you can also, so right when I said clicking on game objects and looking into different um, settings of it, so you saw me do that with the light object with the main camera and the direction of the light. But now when you see with the sphere, you can change the position, and it's like a drastic difference that you see. So say I say 10. So you see this moving. Let me just with the light source this way. So you can play around with the light source and the object. Um, you, Also with the rotation, you can change the rotation even in here. You can scale it up. Oh, okay. So I just changed the x-axis. So you see a disk right here. Let me see, changing the y too. So now you have a 2D surface. You can play around with this. Let's make it a sphere, why not? So playing around with the lighting helps you also view the image in different ways, and also the shadow of the object will be changed every time you change that. Um, so you can play around with the shadows here on or off, or two-sided if you want two lighting sources. Um, anyway, the additional settings, the motion vectors as well is right here. Um, yeah, so I think I covered most of it. So let me know, guys, if you have any doubts or anything we can help around with.